Morning. So after much drawn-out anxiety searching for the subject of my speech, I was surprised to realize that I do not yet have a unique, utterly profound lesson to teach you all today. So for today, I'm going to settle for talking about something I love and many of you may not know much about. My family. For a long time, that was the extent of my. When I turned 8, our family got a dog. But even though we all wanted a family pet, when I found out that Brittany's were bred for hunting, I knew that I had to give it a try. So when our dog was 3 years old, we put her on some quail, and she proved to be a natural. Fast forward 10 years, I spent more time outdoors than I ever expected. Fly fishing the gunpowder, upland hunting with now 3 dogs, bear, arrow, and a new puppy. Waterfowl hunting on the eastern shore, and even teaching myself how to bow hunt. I find myself at the center of an amazing community who are bound by a shared passion and a mission to make sure the wilderness that supports it is preserved. The evolution at this point was so slow that I barely noticed it happening. But now I realize that many of my favorite memories center around the outdoors, and some of my favorite people are the ones that it is connecting me with. More than just memories, my time hunting and fishing has inadvertently developed certain traits that define who I am today. For example, the stubbornness I needed to make it through the high school workload, particularly several specific junior classes, I think came from my experience hunting and fishing. Honestly, finding the willpower to drag myself out of bed at 3 a.m. on the weekend, to put out 50-plus decoys and sit for hours in 15-degree weather is a hard proposition, compounded by the all-too-real possibility of ending the day empty-handed. Often, you still have to head home skunked and disappointed. The feeling is only worse when you look back at all the work that led up to it. A lot of people think that you have to be crazy to do a day after day by choice. I can't blame them, to be honest. That determination and what could be just considered extreme stubbornness is what usually separates eventual success from ultimate disappointment. And I've learned that when I look back on my best days, all that effort just seems to fade away. My experiences hunting have also been a source of great self-assurance for me. A day in the field is always unpredictable, but the feeling of making a hard shot or a perfect cast despite the odds built me a sense of confidence that carries throughout my life. I can tell you that I've never been a wing it kind of guy, much to Mr. Connolly's chastisement at times. So when I first started, hunting sometimes made me more anxious than you could believe. In particular, for example, hunting quail, the dog will run back and forth in the field until they find a bird, and then one person goes up to try to flush it. I used to inch forward, carrying a gun that was too heavy for me, waiting for the explosion of sound and feathers at my feet that meant that I would have to hit a bird this big in the air. And the only thing I knew was that everyone standing behind me was expecting me not to miss. I used to shake like a leaf every time it was my turn. But at some point I got over that anxiety and got more used to going with the flow. I finally began to trust that I would come through when it counted, and I felt much more at home in the field. But more than all of that, hunting and fishing have taught me to laugh at myself. If you were to hear the stories my brother and dad tell, you would not be unreasonable to think that we are the worst outdoorsmen in the world. They could tell you about the time I fell in the river 3 times on the same mossy rock in a span of 45 minutes, or missed the duck that by now they practically claimed was standing still, or nearly knocked myself out standing up too fast in a duck pond. They could mention the abomination that is my goose call, or the time I was caught standing in the backyard cleaning ducks as my brother's extremely vegan friend unexpectedly arrived for study group. And believe me, I have plenty of stories about them that I benevolently choose not to expose today. And of course, we also have stories of our best days, where it wasn't raining that hard, or we finally caught a couple fish. But after all those absurd absurd moments I've endured, it became impossible to take myself too seriously, and I got more comfortable making fun of it. Today, I'd rather spend a day laughing with a friend who's been blowing into the wrong end of his duck call than someone who turns something enjoyable into a job. Above all, hunting has become part of who I am, whether by choice or not, and I cannot recommend it to you all highly enough. I realize being so immersed in it, it's easy for me to forget sometimes how foreign it seems to many people. I want to change that perception if I can. In the U.S. today, outdoorsmen are the leading advocates of conservation, the protection of national parks and ecosystems. They facilitate species management like deer in Maryland, and have contributed more than $19 billion to conservation since 1937. They donate meat to those in need, combat invasive species, and aid in wildlife studies. But as fewer and fewer people make it outside to enjoy this sport, there soon may not be anyone who cares enough to protect the land that provides these opportunities. So overall, hunting and fishing are a great way to get out and connect with nature, join a great community with guys like Parker and Mike, partially here today, unfortunately, and even bring home an ethical, organically sourced meal. The only caveat is that it, like most of the best things, requires patience to get into and enjoy safely. But if anything I've said today has made an impact, know that I, and just about every other outdoorsman out there, are more than willing to help you out and answer all kinds of questions. I hope I get to see you all out there. Thanks.